Klee is ready to spread her pyro cheer across the battlefield. In this video, we'll cover everything you need to know about Klee, how to play her most effectively, as well as how to build her, including her best stats, what weapons and artifacts you should be looking to gear her with. Armed with this knowledge, you'll have everything you guys are going to be needing to keep your Klee safely out of solitary confinement. If you guys want more in-depth Genshin Impact coverage, don't forget to subscribe and turn that notification bell on as always. Klee's normal attacks are charged with the pyro element and consists of 3 hits, with the third hit having the largest damage multiplier, followed by the first and the second hit doing the least amount of damage. Her charge attack hits for slightly more than the first 2 hits of her normal attack combined. Both her normal and charge attacks have a unique property. They normally have a significant animation lock, reducing your mobility in combat. However, you can perform a jump after Klee starts her attack animation anytime after the animation of Klee throwing her bomb starts. This will cancel the animation, allowing you to freely move or chain additional attacks together in this way, whether they be more normal attacks or additional charge attacks. Getting this down is going to allow you to increase the damage you do with Klee even more than intended. Klee's elemental skill is her precious treasure, the Jumpy Dumpy. Klee will throw Jumpy Dumpy at the enemy, bouncing 3 times and dealing pyro damage to enemies in range each time. After the third bounce, Jumpy is going to explode, leaving several mines scattered across the battlefield. Each mine deals a minor amount of pyro damage, around 1/3 of what Jumpy Dumpy's bounces inflict. While small in damage, these mines give Klee the ability to inflict pyro-based elemental combinations such as Melt and Vaporize in quick succession when combined with these Hydro and Cryo characters. Some Anemo characters, like Jean and Genshin Impact's main character, can collect these mines and enemies simultaneously with their elemental skill or elemental burst respectively. Additionally, Klee's elemental skill has 2 charges, allowing you to sequentially use them or save them for a rainy day. Klee's elemental burst is Sparks and Splash, which will deal constant pyro damage to any nearby enemies for 10 seconds. During her elemental burst, Klee is free to move around and use any of her other skills and attacks while she remains on the battlefield. But be careful, Sparks and Splash won't follow or attack enemies if you change to a character to someone other than Klee. Both of Klee's Ascensions augment her normal and charge attacks in a very powerful way. Klee's first Ascension talent gives Jumpy Dumpy and her normal attacks a 50% chance to make her next charge attack deal 50% more damage and also cost no stamina. Her second Ascension causes all party members to gain 2 elemental energy when her charge attack results in a critical hit. Klee's most important constellations arrive at levels 2, 4, as well as 6. Her second constellation reduces the defense of any enemies hit by Jumpy Dumpy's mines by 23% for 10 seconds. This is going to greatly increase the damage they take from all damage types for their duration, whether they be elemental or non-elemental types. Klee's fourth constellation augments Sparks and Splash. When Klee leaves the battlefield during the duration of Sparks and Splash, Klee will explode enemies for 555% of her attack to all nearby enemies. Klee's sixth and final constellation causes the energy of other party members to constantly regenerate during the duration of Sparks and Splash, and also further increases the pyro damage done by all party members by 10% for 25 seconds. The energy regeneration of her final constellation in conjunction with her final ascension causes her to be more than just your average damage dealer once you have both of them. With both of them, she's going to be an energy fountain, allowing you to pop off as many elemental bursts as your heart desires. That being said, if you have high critical hit rate, you're going to be able to fill up that energy meter for your team very high and very quickly with that final ascension. Klee's playstyle consists of peppering her opponents with consistent pyro damage as well as huge burst damage with the combination of her elemental skill, elemental burst, and charged attacks. But how you want to use her will ultimately be up to you. Her main stats to increase the amount of damage you do with all of Klee's abilities will be attack percent and pyro damage percent. As you further increase Klee's level and obtain her second Ascension talent, critical hit rate will also become even more important, as it not only increases the amount of damage Klee can do, but also quickens how fast your other party members can obtain their elemental burst, which will further increase the amount of damage and utility of your team overall. So be sure to try to obtain some critical hit rate as a secondary stat through your adventures in Genshin Impact. If you're also utilizing Klee with Hydro or Cryo units, Elemental Mastery as a secondary stat will also further help increase your damage by increasing the Melt and Vaporize damage bonus. The Skyward Atlas and the Eye of Perception are both all-around fantastic, well-balanced, and easy-to-use weapons for Klee. They both simply give attack percent and also have an additional damage proc, causing an additional attack to occur and trigger from your normal attacks 50% of the time, and these effects are on a small cooldown. The Woodsith is an interesting choice if you're choosing Klee as a burst damage dealer, as it will give the users 10 seconds of either large attack buff, elemental damage buff, or elemental mastery buff. The Woodsith will greatly increase your burst damage through the use of these buffs, especially in conjunction with Cryo and Hydro units through the uses of Vaporize and Melt. But beware, as it has critical hit damage as a stat, which forces you to build critical hit rate to take full advantage of this increase to critical hit damage. Requiring only the most refined gear and builds to take full advantage of the Mappa Ramare, it is one of the harder books to use, but also has one of the higher payoffs for burst damage in Genshin Impact. If you don't have any of these weapons and you're looking for a crafted weapon, the Mappa Mare is the one that you're looking to craft, as it's the only damage dealer book you're allowed to craft. This book has Elemental Mastery as a secondary stat and forces you to use elemental reactions to gain the elemental damage percent bonus it provides to you. So look forward to using this on a Melt or Vaporize team, or even something like an Overload team early game to take full benefits of this book. If you don't have any of these weapons we talked about already, you can pick up the Solar Pearl from the Battle Pass if you did buy the Battle Pass. Very solid option. It increases your normal attacks and elemental skill as well as your elemental burst damage when you use them in combination with each other. Sadly, it does not increase your charged attack damage, which Klee is going to want to be using quite a lot. Sadly, as far as 3-star resources and weapons goes for Klee, there isn't a phenomenal choice, and most of them are based in elemental mastery, and none of them have really great secondary effects. However, you can pick up the Royal Grimoire if you're super hard strapped for a weapon for Klee, as it does have attack percent, and it will increase your critical hit rate when damaging an enemy by 8%, but when you do score a critical hit, all of these effects will be removed, so it's not a fantastic option. I would definitely try to go and use even the crafted version over this Star Glitter exchange option. That is a very powerful resource. When you're looking towards the best artifact set for Klee, the Crimson Witch of Flames set is her best set, as it was simply made for her. The 2-piece bonus increases your pyro damage by 15%, while the 4-piece bonus not only increases the damage bonus of the pyro-based elemental combinations, but also has a secondary effect. When you use an elemental skill, it will further increase your pyro damage 2-piece bonus by 50%, and this can stack up to 3 times. As Jumpy Dumpy has 2 charges, Klee is able to stack this effect quite easily, further increasing your pyro damage in that short 10-second window. The Crimson Witch of Flames was simply made for Klee to spread her cheer around the world. If you guys want more in-depth Genshin Impact coverage, check out our other videos, and don't forget to subscribe and turn the notification bell on. You guys have a great day out there, and I'll see you in the next one.